Great. Let's begin the show for today. I am Harish. I'll be your host from AngelHack, and I also have with me Vivian and Zale from my team who will help assist with the whole uh, event today. And we also have an amazing panelists of uh, great people from ZEPETO who are going to help us walk through what it is like to build on ZEPETO today. And with that, let's begin our first engagement session. And today we have Benjamin, who's our primary speaker, but we also have the other panelists from ZEPETO who will also help answer any questions that you have throughout the session. What we will do in this session is get a better understanding of what it is like to build a ZEPETO app. With that, I'll hand it over to Benjamin quickly, but at any point of the session, if you have any questions, do drop it in the Q&A box below or the chat box. We'll pick it up at the end of the session and answer them after Benjamin is done presenting and helping us understand how easy or hard or not it is to build on ZEPETO. Over to you, Benjamin.
Thank you for the introduction, Harish. And thank you everyone who's joining us. We have people from all corners of the world tonight. For some of you, it might be early in the morning. For others, it's late. So thank you for being here. We're very excited to grow our development community and share with all of you guys some information on the ZEPETO platform leading up to the ZEPETO World Jam in February. There's going to be plenty of time for questions at the end of our conversation today. All of you have seen our website. You know, you have some idea of what the World Jam is about. But just to recap very briefly, this is going to be a month-long event where participants from all over the world are going to compete for a significant prize pool, more than, I think it's $115,000, to develop all sorts of worlds on the ZEPETO platform, which, as you know, is one of the leading Metaverse platforms, the biggest out of Asia. But before we jump into all that, we want to share our knowledge with you guys. We want to tell you about our platform, give you insights both on the technical side, the creative side, talk about the general industry, the competitive landscape that we're in, and give you, all of our resources, put them at your disposal so that you're able to build the most engaging worlds. This is the table of contents of what we'll talk today. We'll briefly talk about the event itself, the World Jam, but really the focus of tonight's conversation is the ZEPETO platform itself. Just to recap on the event, the main goal is to develop a world with our Unity plugin to compete for the different prizes. We're going to speak more about ZEPETO Studio, but this is the tool you guys are going to be using. You can build any type of world, any genre. Everything is fair game. Whatever you're thinking about, odds are you can build it on ZEPETO Studio. So do know there are no restrictions there. And just a quick recap on the different judging criteria. Number one, market potential. That means what's the viability of that world? What's its potential appeal for the ZEPETO audience? Number two, the design and functionality. That's more like the tech side, how it's built. Does it run correctly? Is it a world that successfully engages players and keeps them hooked so that they play for a long time? Number three, innovation. If these worlds bring in something new, something unique that we haven't seen on the ZEPETO platform, I think that makes them very, very unique. And lastly, the completion level, which sometimes we set out to do things, but end up completing something else. Those who complete their projects fully are going to get better marks there. But we're going to have a lot of time to talk about this in the coming days. Before all that, really, what is ZEPETO all about? That's what we're going to talk about today. We start off with a brief definition on the metaverse. I think different people in tech and gaming and different media entertainment industries have different definitions, but I think this is one that serves our purposes very well. For us, the metaverse is a massively scaled network of real-time rendered 3D virtual worlds that can be experienced at the same time consistently by an unlimited number of users who share an individual sense of presence and self. So there's two different things involved that I'm very interested in here. Number one, 3D virtual worlds. Number two, individual sense of presence and self. The internet has been around for a very long time, but with new technology, the internet's moving towards a much more immersive version of itself. That's, I think, one of the most unique pieces of this. That's what you'll see on ZEPETO. It's not just 2D avatars. It's not just 2D world games. It's something that feels much more realistic, closer to what we see in our day-to-day life outside of our mobile devices, computers, etc. And second, yeah, individual sense of presence and self. Self-expression and identity are very important to everyone in the internet, but particularly in the metaverse. We think that these platforms, these systems are going to enable very realistic manifestations of individualism and identity. Right now, the metaverse is estimated to be a $23 billion market, give or take. In the next 7 years, it's going to grow to close to $1 trillion. Many different industries touch upon the metaverse, from games, film, IT, music, and much more, education. There's a huge migration towards these opportunities. And like I mentioned earlier, what's most exciting for us, and we hope that for all of the participants in the World Jam, is that ZEPETO is the biggest metaverse platform originating in Asia. There's different platforms out there, lots of interesting technologies, but we bring a very unique take on what's possible in the metaverse. And after this event, everyone here is going to have the know-how to build great content experiences in this format. So what is ZEPETO all about? Rather than me talking through it, I want to run you guys through a quick video where you'll be able to see the different types of interactions, different types of content, and activities that are possible in ZEPETO today. So the very first thing that any user does when they come into ZEPETO is create their digital self. They create their avatar, and that's really our, I think, number one pillar. You see it here in these images. The very first thing that happens, another me in another universe. In the metaverse, everyone can be whoever they want to be, and that's how we really started out. As we built onto our tech, we built so many other features. Now people can stream live content of their avatars and their friends' avatars. They can make 3D animated videos, social posts. They can meet people, whether it's in those interactions or in our worlds. Our worlds range from hangout spots, think a concert venue, all the way to very detailed interactive worlds where you can play. You can explore thousands of worlds. All of these, most of these created by our community, by our users, for our users. They know what they want to play. Second or third, I mean, you can build. So you can build worlds, but you can also create items. You can create digital clothes, all sorts of complements to these worlds. Our creators can build, they can monetize them, they can share them with their friends, with really anyone. So we really like to think of ZEPETO like a platform that has no boundaries to what's possible. And as we continue growing our platform, there will be more content functionalities, more features, different things that will add on to this. So yeah, ZEPETO is more than anything a social platform, a growing, vibrant social platform where members gather to create and share whatever they imagine, meet other members, and have fun in thousands of experiences. Quick recap of some statistics on our platform. We have more than 350 million registered users. They've made 6 million unique items. 95% of these, I think, are made by our users. Again, they know what people like them want to engage with. 4 billion pieces of content have been created, more than 1.5 billion of hours of engagement tracked, and we have 20 million monthly active users, 20 million people coming back every month to play ZEPETO, to consume different kinds of content, to share with different people. And lastly, our audience. I think this is very important for any developer and creator that's working on ZEPETO. You should be very aware of who your audience is going to be. So right now, our users are more than 80% female, and the vast majority of them are between the ages of 13 and 24. So it's really Gen Z consumers, which is very unique because, again, back to other metaverse platforms, most of them are actually more male skewing. And I think this is something very unique for anyone building on ZEPETO. In terms of the opportunity for everyone here, like I said, we're the biggest metaverse platform out of Asia. That's going to give you access to a large user base that's going to consume your content, that's going to engage with it, that's going to want to share it, and that you're going to be able to collaborate with. We've grown our monthly active user base by a factor of 40 from 2019 to 2022, which is very exciting, but there's so much more growth ahead. And I think that's what's most exciting. It's still the early days of our worlds. So all of you guys here you're in the first ZEPETO World Jam. This is the first time we host this event. You're gonna have an early adopter advantage. We're gonna be able to reach probably a lot more people than developers who start building on ZEPETO in 5 and 2 and 6 years will be able to do, because by then the platform will have more users, more content. It's going to be harder to get that level of attention. Same thing for tech and marketing support. In this event, the next month and a half, a bit more, all of you guys are going to have direct lines of contact with different specialists on our team that can guide you through the entire development process, whether you want to talk about highly technical matters surrounding programming, or you want to talk about art, design, or you want to discuss monetization, retention features on your worlds. All of those things, you're going to have people that can work with you and can help you achieve what you want to achieve. That's not always available when someone's developing worlds or games, whatever it is that they're developing on other platforms. 3, everything you're going to build in this event is going to be built on the Unity game engine. The vast majority of mobile games are built on Unity. So everything you're going to be learning here is going to complement your own professional careers outside. If tomorrow you want to make a game for the mobile app stores, Google, Apple, or you want to develop for consoles, whatever it is that you end up doing, whether it is on ZEPETO or not, everything you're learning here is applicable to that, particularly if you want to make a career in gaming. And lastly, there's monetization opportunities. Any creator on ZEPETO, anyone who publishes their content on the platform, is able to monetize their content, whether it's items, worlds, really everything. So there is no ceiling to what you can achieve here. We really hope that this event is just the start of your careers on ZEPETO. I've been talking for the last 15 minutes about worlds. I keep mentioning worlds, but what are worlds? I think you guys are going to build some awesome worlds, but we need to first define these. So a world is an interactive space on the ZEPETO platform that creators can develop using the Unity game engine. ZEPETO users play, interact, hang out, create, sell content, and more in these worlds. These are the places where users go to consume content, be with others, play, share. They've been to live concerts in there, pre-recorded concerts. There's so much diversity in terms of what these worlds are about, that's why we call them worlds. We don't want to restrict our creator community in any sense. These are some creator world samples. These are just stills, but this gives you a sense of the different things that creators are building. I want to show another quick reel. Everything you're going to see here has been created by ZEPETO users. So here we saw a theme park, a giant dollhouse, a Bulgari big fashion branded world, a beautiful garden, a zombie apocalypse world, different worlds for different people. We want there to be something for everyone out there. And that's why we want people from all corners of the world here. I mentioned the brand worlds, Bulgari. These are some of our partners that have either hosted events, created worlds, but everyone from Disney to Gucci to Samsung. We even hosted a live concert a couple of months ago with the Korean K-pop band BTS. Again, I think this speaks to the wide variety. If you like sports, ZEPETO is a great place to build sports worlds. But if what you love is fashion or Disney princesses or whatever, music, there's a lot of people who will consume that content on our platform. Those are the more event type or branded worlds. I also want to share what I'm calling tonight worlds of play. This is just to give you a look and feel of some of the things that our users are playing. I think they'll speak for themselves. All of these are interactive, multiplayer, very competitive worlds. From race worlds on the far left. The second one is a very competitive, smashing and jumping world that's super fun. We have a shooter on the top right, and in the bottom right we have a world called Slime Party, Slime Simulator. I'll let you guys watch these. So this is me with my colleague Zane running to see who gets to the end of the race first, as we collect coins, super similar to many very famous video games out there. So you guys got the look and feel, an obstacle course, and we need to race to the end and earn the most coins. Next up is Smash Rumble. I think this one is actually excellent. So this is a territory control world. Actually, in the next couple weeks, you guys are going to learn how to build something very similar to this. So we want you to be fully creative, take the lead, make these worlds whatever you want to make them. Next up is Shoe Clash, the shooter I mentioned. You're on a yacht with your friends in a water balloon and water gun fight. And next up, Slime Simulator. So next up, I want to show you guys a couple of examples of recent worlds that are appealing a lot to our users. I saw one of the questions Nicolas asked, what kind of worlds players from ZEPETO like to go to the most? So you're going to see a couple of things that are resonating a lot with our users. And again, I think this ties in very well with the demographics and everything we've talked about today. First up is Runway Z. This is a fashion simulator world where players need to dress up, impress other players, and compete to see who walks the runway best. Just to mention a couple metrics, in less than 2 months of release, it's gathered over 25 million minutes of playtime and over 1 million players. That's awesome for any developer. You know, if tomorrow you make a game, publish it in one of the app stores, one of the big PC stores, getting that level of visibility is not easy, and we want to empower developers, help them so they achieve this level of success. Next up is My Pet Diary. This is a pet simulator game where players adopt pets. They take care of them, they feed them, they take them to the doctor, they build a home for the pet where they can invite their friends and lots more. This one has over 500,000 players. Again, very exciting, and this is something that has been very appealing to different users. So I mentioned earlier that for us, anything is possible in our metaverse platform. Before I speak about this game, I just want to show a quick clip. We've all watched those TV shows, those obstacle course shows, Wipeout, Ninja Warrior, whatever they're called, where people need to run and survive in these crazy scenarios. On ZEPETO, you can do that from the comfort of your home. You can be on Ninja Warrior in the metaverse without having to get wet. You can make these worlds, you can play in these worlds with your friends, with worlds like Jump Master, which is an obstacle course where players are jumping, skipping in a never-changing tower, to be the first to reach the top. And you don't have to get on these TV shows to get there. Big success story on ZEPETO. This has over 240 million plays and more than 2 million monthly active users. This is another type of world that our players are very interested in. And I also want to share with you guys a couple of teasers. I want to show you a couple of worlds that developers like you who started on ZEPETO maybe a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago, are building. And these are very much like games that many of us have played on our phones or other platforms. So everyone here probably has played Candy Crush, super famous, super addictive match 3 mobile game, super successful. Right now, a studio is making something very similar, but it's a PvP, a competitive match 3 game where you're going to be able to compete with your friends while you make matches and throw burgers and pizza and sushi on each other's avatars. So that's Stephanie from the developer relations team throwing sushi at John's face. Again, this is in development. This is a work in progress. This is not final, and that's not how it's going to go live on the platform. But I think this is a perfect way for everyone here to see how what's on the right side in development can become like the game on the left side. That is a massive hit. Next up, a very famous infinite runner game, Subway Surfers, where you're running away from a security guard and his dog, navigating around these subway carts. Well, on ZEPETO, there's a developer working on a very similar world, but set in a medieval fantasy setting where you're shooting these monsters before they bite you, with a bow, with a staff. You can whack at them with a sword. Again, it's a work in progress, but the idea is that what you guys see on the right is going to be a world that's going to be as fun to play, maybe much more fun than the world on the left, the game on the left. As you can see, the assets are not fully built. These are placeholder assets, but they give you a look and feel of what the end product will look like. Next up, many of us have played the very famous game, tower defense game, Plants versus Zombies. If you haven't, check it out. Big classic. On ZEPETO, there's a developer making Chef Cats versus Zombies. Very similar mechanic, but you're going to see the cats in 1 second, the different towers. You need to get the zombies before they invade your turf. Again, all of this is possible. All of this and more. These are just some references that people know. But the idea is that with ZEPETO Studio, you're going to be able to make anything. So yeah, there you can see the avatar throwing some tomatoes at the zombies. And lastly, before we wrap it up, my colleague John Lee, who is one of our tech evangelists. He works very, very closely with all of our developers, helping them understand our Unity plugin. He's going to talk about what world development is like on ZEPETO, how it works. John, I got ahead of myself. I think before that, yes, we had a quick video on ZEPETO Studio. So we'll play that and then we'll take it away. Perfect. John, please, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you so much for the overview, Benja. Hope everyone's really excited to get started here. So now that we have a kind of like a sense of the platform you'll be developing for, let's get kind of a brief introduction of getting familiar with their actual environment. So as Benjamin said, a lot of our audience is 80% female and 94% of them are younger than 24. So any good game designer will know when designing a game that you need to know your target audience. So in your case, the audience is our ZEPETO users. So to get familiar, I definitely recommend that you guys jump into our app first. First and foremost, to play around a bit with your new avatar, jump into the various different worlds and explore the competition that's already existing out there in the form of worlds. You'll notice two different kind of splits. As mentioned, there are our creator worlds that are that's been created using our Build It platform, as opposed to worlds created using Unity. Anything with kind of more of an interaction focused worlds like that have any competition or interactiveness will be the games that have been created using our Unity platform. So you're gonna need to get our development environment installed onto your machine. And since you're gonna be developing using the ZEPETO platform, you're gonna need to work with the tools that we provide you through our API. Since all of you are developers, I'm sure many of you are already familiar with the Unity game engine. So for many of you, that's good news, right? And since the development will take place entirely on the Unity game engine, the challenge, however, though, is that our ZEPETO plugin will require you to get familiar with TypeScript. But it shouldn't be too much of a challenge to get familiar with it. All of the libraries that you're already used to in Unity will be fully available in TypeScript as well. So it's just a matter of syntax, the syntax of TypeScript. So it should still feel fairly familiar to you guys. The participants guide that we've provided to you will be your lifeline throughout this World Jam. And if you take a look there, you'll see a lot of kind of resources that you can take a look at, the Getting Started guide. And it's all split chapter by chapter to kickstart your development journey with ZEPETO. The cool thing about our plugin is that you're developing a world for the ZEPETO Metaverse, and not for any particular platform like Android, iOS, etc., PC, Mac. You're developing for ZEPETO. So anywhere ZEPETO Metaverse lives, so does your world. So there's nothing that you have to think about when it comes to building your platform to Android or iOS, and different rules and regulations surrounding that. It's just we have a streamlined pipeline for you guys directly from Unity into our app itself. And all of that will be in your participants guide, so definitely take a look again. You'll notice during development also that testing is going to be a relatively simple process for you guys as well. So building your world will generate kind of a QR code. And if you scan it, you'll directly jump into your world with your own avatar and begin playing right away. So definitely take time to get familiar with our plugin. There's going to be a lot of gotchas that you'll notice during development. So I'd recommend getting those out of the way as early as possible. So you're ready to focus on development when you begin your game. The thing that might potentially be a challenge for you guys is the multiplayer portion of development. If any of you have worked with the multiplayer scheme, any kind of multiplayer scheme in the past, you shouldn't have much problems getting accustomed to our system. But for those of you that haven't, I'd highly recommend you guys to take advantage of our participants guides, focus on that section as early as possible so that you can test around and play around with that system. We have a bunch of Git projects on there that you can take a look at with like a full project that you can download and take a look through the code and see how everything's set up there. I'm not going to go into too much technical detail in this. It's just going to be kind of like an overview of our systems. So take advantage of our development community on Discord and engage with your fellow World Jam participants there. Even those that are not necessarily part of this event, we have a sizable community of developers there. So post any development questions or insights that you might have on the tech questions channel in our Discord. Hopefully all of you have access to that. And yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of projects that you guys are going to create for this World Jam. And good luck, everyone.
Thank you very much, John. I just want to quickly add to that. So John, I think, covered a lot of useful things. He mentioned the different technical piece, some of the different technical pieces that you're going to encounter, like, you know, everything from setting up a multiplayer world all the way to testing your worlds. We have 3 code-along workshops. They're scheduled for January 31st, February 1st, and February 2nd, where John and Mondul, one of our tech evangelist team lead, are going to be talking about some of those topics, and they're going to be giving us their insight into how to best tackle those challenges. So definitely mark your calendars, attend those, because you're going to make a lot out of those sessions. And yeah, just to finish things off before we jump into the Q&A, here are a couple of next steps, and I think John hit on many, if not all of these. But number one, definitely spend some time playing a variety of ZEPETO worlds, see what our users are engaging with, and also see where you see opportunities for you. Also, they spend time outside of ZEPETO, other platforms, they play games, they consume other forms of content. Definitely check out that content, because it could be very inspirational and could give you great ideas of what you might want to build. Number two, install Unity and the ZEPETO plugin so that you can hit the ground running. If you're not a programmer yourself, if you're working with a team, if you're focused on a different function within all things game development, that's fine. Just make sure that whatever teammate you have who will be focusing on the scripting has these tools. As John mentioned, work through some examples and the exercises that we have in the participants guide. You'll definitely get a leading advantage if you start learning these tools today. You know, the World Jam will last 4 weeks. If you come in with prior knowledge of Unity, odds are you're going to be able to create more in that time. Like John mentioned, join our World Jam Discord server and post your questions. If any of you are encountering roadblocks or you want clarity on anything that you know we could explain better, please reach out. Yeah, we have a lot of people supporting all of you, and yeah, we're all here to help. Like I said, people from very diverse backgrounds. And yeah, to wrap things up, let's go ahead and do a Q&A. If you guys want a moment to start sending in questions, that's fine. I'm going to start with a couple of questions that I saw pop up earlier today. The first one I'm seeing, I really love what I'm seeing, but what about people like me who have no idea of game design? I'm a UX UI designer. Can I participate, please? That's an excellent question. You can absolutely participate, because we want to encourage people to build in teams. The same way you are not a game designer yourself, there's lots of game designers out there, lots of programmers who need UX and UI designers like you. So in our Discord server, there's a channel devoted to finding team members. If you don't know people yet that you can work with, definitely go there and you'll find them. If you want help from us in doing that, reach out. Please, we're there to help. Another one, what kind of worlds do players from ZEPETO like to go to the most? That's another great question. I'm glad you're thinking about this because, yeah, you need to think about your audience as you build on our platform. Like so Raymond pointed out, Hangouts are very popular, yes, but I wouldn't recommend boxing anyone in any one category. There's a very, very wide range, and that's what we tried to sample today, from the Hangouts all the way to the ones that are super interactive, super competitive, you know, like the race world that we showed, the Plants vs Zombies, all these things. The highlighted worlds that we shared today, they're quite new and they're becoming super popular. So I think there's something for everyone on ZEPETO, but you should definitely see what you gravitate towards as well. I think developing what you find the most fun is what's going to be best for all of you here. Next up, do I have to make my world according to the format mentioned in the ZEPETO World Manual, capacity limitations, etc.? In terms of tech, you know, if we have a file size limit, things like that, yes. We mentioned the Unity game engine, we mentioned our plugin, all these things. Those are the worlds that you're going to be able to publish on our platform. So for that reason, yeah, definitely stick to the guidelines we're sharing. And if there's any limitation for you, reach out to us so that we can try to find a way around it. John, or Mondul, I'm gonna throw the next one at you guys. Can I develop it without restriction if I use only the ZEPETO API?
Sure. So if you're developing worlds in ZEPETO, you will need to use the API. And if you do use the API, I mean, there's really nothing limiting you from creating what you would like to create in that world. This game jam is full freedom, as Benjamin mentioned. Like, you guys have full creative liberty over what kinds of worlds you want to create. The only restriction might be as you explore the world, or as you explore the API, you might encounter some certain things that aren't available as part of our API that might prevent you from creating that world. So to that extent, that might be the only blocker in terms of the kinds of worlds you create. So yeah, so hop into the API as early as possible and explore around. If you have any specific questions about what is available, you can definitely reach out to me at any time. Yeah.
If you have any other questions, we definitely have some time, so please.
How to reach out to John Lee is the next question.
John.
So we have mentor sessions. You'll have to take a look at their participants guide. We have a way to kind of assign mentors to different people. So you can definitely schedule a time on anyone's calendar. We have a bunch of mentors set up for you, not necessarily only me, but like designer questions or business related questions, anything that's available. Any questions that you guys might have, you can take a look through there. So it's all on the participants guide. So take a look there. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Benjamin. I have a question, but I know the answer for that one. I wish
Dude,
I could participate in this hackathon. Uh,
we
but
won't tell anyone. Remember, another me in another universe. We won't know.
sure.
Thank
Wish
you,
that was
everyone. Thank you, Harish, for all your help, you and your team putting this great group of people together. And thank you to all of our attendants tonight. We really appreciate you being here. Please follow up with us if you have questions. We're going to follow up with all the resources, links to the recording. If you want to share this with your team, friends, we're here. It was very nice meeting you all.
But wait, we are not leaving yet because I have some questions from YouTube. Let me ask that, and anyone from the ZEPETO team can pick that up and answer that.
Perfect.
The first one is, as a developer with just pure front-end experience, how and where do I begin?
I want to give that to the star of the hour, John or Mondu. I won't answer that one.
So by front end, I imagine you're just talking about maybe UI related or things. I'd recommend reaching out to fellow developers to see what kind of backgrounds are available there. Whether it be kind of backend server developers or whatever kind of backgrounds that you might be looking for. If you need artists, you can connect with other people there to figure out what kind of people might be interested in joining your team. So yeah, like if you're a front-end developer and you don't have any backend experience or any kind of like server, you don't know how to work with multiplayer at all. Although the multiplayer, like the backend stuff should be relatively simple. There isn't really much super complicated that you have to go into. But if you do need support there, try to create a group composition that would kind of suit your or kind of accentuate your development capabilities. Yeah.
And you'll be able to find those people on our Discord server. We have lots of people who've registered already. But we had someone earlier ask, well, what should I do if I'm a UI UX designer, but I'm not a game developer myself, I'm not a programmer? Well, it might be a great idea for them to work with you, maybe a 3D artist, maybe you need someone who can help you with the music and you have a team. Definitely we want to encourage people to meet up and find teammates because yeah, game development is a team sport. We need people from very different backgrounds and expertises to come together to make this happen.
Great. The next one I have is, I'm worried I don't have any design experience. Should I be worried, really? Or does ZEPETO have any pre-made items or components that I can use to build a world?
Again, very similar question. This is going to come down again to the team composition, but we do have assets that you can use. If you already have pre-existing assets that you have, maybe you can download from the Unity Asset Store. Those are all free game. But we also have a Build It package that has a bunch of kind of preset assets that you can kind of drop into your world and play around with. We have like full buildings, we have like little props, we have like enemies, objects, things like that that you can kind of use. But anything out there in the ether from any kind of art assets that you can find, you can definitely take advantage of and use and import into Unity. So yeah, so even if maybe you don't even have artists on your team, if you can find assets anywhere on the internet or just maybe a full build it asset used like game, that's fine too. So yeah.
How long should the typical gameplay for players of my world that I built should be?
That's a great question. It's a very interesting question because I think it's also a hard one to answer, but there is no right or wrong answer to this. Sometimes the most successful games, worlds are the ones that hook people the longest, where people are spending, as many minutes, hopefully hours a day in the game. But sometimes a game's success is not driven by playtime, but rather frequency of visits, returns to a world. Those things won't necessarily correlate with engagement or with monetization. Right now, we have some worlds on ZEPETO with very long playtime per user. But some of them are outperformed by worlds that have lower playtime. People are coming back more to worlds that they play for less time, and they're spending more money on the worlds that they play for less time. So it really depends. We have a developer working on a game called Kitty Collector, and in that game we're helping them set benchmarks, KPIs to aim for, and we realized, well, there's no point in really, this game won't be successful because people will spend hours. It'll be successful if people come back every day many times, because that's just how the game is built, what the developers are optimizing for. But as you start developing, and you have a very clear idea of what you're designing, what you're building, we could probably direct you in the right direction. If you're making, I don't know, a clicker simulator, we can help you find comps and help you look at what reasonable benchmarks are, as opposed to if you're making a chess world. Well, what's the average playtime for the best chess games out there? It won't be the same for every genre, but we can help you fine tune those things so that you have, you set up the right goals for your world.
Right. So what is the most popular game on ZEPETO now?
Someone asked this just now.
Yeah.
I think refer to the slides from today. I showed Jumpmaster. Definitely historically popular world on ZEPETO. But most recently, Runway Z is gathering a lot of steam, and over the holidays we have a game called Hide and Seek release, and people are engaging a lot with that too. It could be that next month, next quarter, this completely changes. But those are, if you ask me today, what are you playing on ZEPETO? Those three are the ones that I'm seeing the most frequently. But we have a lot of worlds coming. It's the early days. Every day there's more and more people building on ZEPETO, and much more variety to what these worlds are like. Great question from Suyon. I wonder if our worlds will be released on the official map or the producer's accounts if it wins the contest later. So yeah, some of the worlds here, hopefully many of the worlds that come out of this game jam, will publish onto the ZEPETO platform. Maybe some of them will be ready when we finish the event and they'll be ready to publish right away. Others might require some updates, some edits. But everything that you guys built, you'll be able to release on your own accounts on the platform. And if you build monetization features, whether it's during the event or later down the line, all of that will be, credited to your account. These are your games, your worlds. Apologies. You own them. You own the codes. You own the copyright. You can do whatever you want with those. And as users, as creators on our platform, you're free to publish content at any time.
Right. So for everybody wondering, the game jam officially kicks off on the 30th of this month. And now, or if you've already registered like a couple of weeks ago, this is the time that you use to explore the platform, see how you can get started with it, talk to all the technical evangelists that we have from ZEPETO on Discord, reach out to them if you have any questions, ask them how to get started if you don't know where to get started. We have a lot of resources on the participants guide that will help you plan your idea for the world that you want to build for the ZEPETO World Jam, starting off on Jan 30th of this month. So what is the first step? The first step is, if you haven't registered already and are watching this on YouTube or on Zoom, just you've registered for this session, the link to this is already in your email or in the description box below to register for the ZEPETO World Jam. Click on it, register, you'll get access to the welcome email, which has all of that we've mentioned today, including the resources, the getting started videos, how to reach out to all our mentors. And if you have any questions about the World Jam, our AngelHack team is also available on the Discord to help you out with how to form teams, how to find team members, or how to find John Lee and ask him more questions that you have about the platform. And yes, we hope to see you build some amazing worlds at ZEPETO World Jam. Zale from my team has already posted a bunch of links for you to get started, sign up for the game jam, and get going. With that, we have no further questions on any of the platforms that we are live today on. Thank you so much, Benjamin, Stephanie, John, Mondul, and everybody else from the ZEPETO team who has been around on this session. This is just our first one, and we have a lot more coming. And if you want to find out what else do we have planned, check out ZEPETOWorldJam.com. That's where all the sessions that we have planned for you, including a lot of code along workshops, more mentor time and face time with our mentors throughout the whole game jam, is already listed up there, including in the participants guide. Once again, shout out to everybody from the ZEPETO team. Thank you so much for joining us today. And also shout out to all of you who have streamed in live today to watch this first engagement session, and hope you've picked up something new to get started with ZEPETO. Any final words, ZEPETO team?
Thank you from everyone from the ZEPETO team to all of our attendants, and you, Harish, for helping us with this event. Like Harish said, please reach out. We're here to help. We're here to make this development experience easy and smooth for you, and we're excited to build some awesome worlds with you.
All right, thank you so much. See you all on Discord or on email also. We are always available for you to reach out to us. If you have any questions at any point, do write them to us on Discord or email or wherever you want to find us. Discord is the easiest one. I mean, with that, we come to the end of the first engagement session for ZEPETO World Jam 2023. Looking forward to you participating in it and building some amazing worlds. See you all in the next one coming up next week on the 17th. And the registration link for that will be up on the website in just a few hours, and also in your email if you've already registered for the game jam. With that, see you and have a great week ahead.
Bye.